December is really giving a moment of grounding and of practicality after all of the water, fire, and retrograde energy that we experience in November. December is really giving us that green light to officially move forward with brand new information that has been brought to the surface and moving forward with a level of confidence and persistence and practicality on our journey. Greetings, alchemists. Welcome back to my channel, Hidden Alchemy by Sade. My name is Sade. If it's your first time here, welcome. And if not, welcome back. We are here to discuss the lovely month of December. And I really have such a good time bringing you all the astrology forecast of the month, of the season, the full moons, the new moons, so that you have this information at your disposal to take it and make gold with it. I am not a fear mongerer when it comes to discussing astrology. I like to see the facts for what it is and take the information and alchemize my life with it. So, with that being said, we made it through November. Congratulations, and specifically happy birthday to the Sages and the Capricorns out there, since December will be half Sagittarius season and half Capricorn season. So, we've made it through November. November was such an uncomfortable month because we were dealing with all of these retrogrades on top of planets moving back into old signs. So it's different when you're going through a retrograde in one specific sign rather than when a planet is going through a retrograde in one sign and then going backwards. So it really has felt like we were living in two separate worlds at the same time. Now, beautiful message for December is we are finally moving forward. Okay. Mercury is stationing direct. Neptune is stationing direct. Saturn is already direct and has been direct since the end of November, depending on when you're listening to this video. And so we are officially moving forward, but not with speed, with practicality and a lot of napping because it is Capricorn energy. So, starting out the month, we have on December 4th, we have a full moon in Gemini. And of course, you already know I'm going to give you a detailed full moon and new moon video despite this video. So, a full moon is when we have reached a culmination. Something is being brought to our awareness. And in this case, we have a full moon in the sign of Gemini, which means that the sun and the moon are in opposition. So when you're dealing with Gemini and Sagittarius energy, you're dealing with the knowledge that you learn from reading, from the intellect, from studying, from being in school, in opposition to the Sagittarius energy of the wisdom that you gain when you practically apply that knowledge in your life. And not even just practically applying that knowledge, confidently applying that knowledge. Now, what I love about this full moon in Gemini, and I'm going to dive deeper into this in my other video, is we have supporting planets. We have Jupiter and Saturn making a very beautiful trine with each other. We have Uranus and Neptune making an amazing sextile. And then we also have Mercury that has just stationed direct just a few days before this full moon, which means that Mercury, the planet that rules Gemini, there is brand new information on the table. Okay, so now that we have brand new information on the table, we have all of these planets that are direct, and then all of these planets that are making really yummy aspects to each other. It is a green light to say, okay, what I am thinking, what I am perceiving, the information that I have gained, the knowledge and the perspective, which is very Gemini, the mental perspective that I have right now, it is safe for me to let go of this old chapter, to acknowledge where something needs to be pivoted, which is very Gemini as well, and to continue moving forward on my journey, which is Sagittarius. Now, following on the 10th, we have Neptune stationing direct in Pisces. And y'all, this is very important. And the reason why this is so important is because we will not live through another Neptune in Pisces transit. It has been a great time from 2012 until now, having Neptune in its home sign of Pisces, which has really given us a sense of optimism, a sense of hope, a sense of spiritual connection, and in that same breath, escapism tendencies, addiction habits, and false ways of seeing the fact and the reality of our situation and where we are. But the beautiful thing about the Neptune in Pisces retrograde that we had is we were able to take the rose colored glasses off and to really see the opposite of Pisces, right? The Virgo, really see the fact of a situation and still tap into the Neptunian energy in Pisces to create our new reality as we move into Aries. Now, Neptune moving into Aries is really going to give us that fire to move confidently and courageously on a brand new path of enlightenment. Okay, wherever Neptune goes, and I have a full video on Neptune moving into Aries, so definitely check that out. But wherever Neptune goes, it's bringing us spiritual enlightenment, but we have to bring balance to the spiritual enlightenment with the practical, physical world. So I want you to go ahead and look at where you have Pisces in your chart, and you are saying a farewell to where you might have been a little delusional, where you might have been escaping more than necessary, but also in that same breath, where you have created a whole new world of possibility for yourself, where you have connected to people, places, and things on such a deep spiritual way, because that is Pisces, where you have gained a better sense of compassion for humanity, and where you have gained a better sense of realism of what is actually happening around you, okay, in your community, in your intimate circle, and really around the world as a collective. And with Saturn officially leaving Pisces as well, there is work that you have been doing for these past 2.5 years where you really deserve to congratulate yourself for how far you've come, and to truly, in straight Pisces fashion, give yourself this winter season of rest, because we are going to need the rest before we get into 2026. Because let me tell you, the astrology of 2026 is very masculine. And what I mean by that is it's very energetic. So this winter season is a very important season of resting, of solitude, of reflection, of grief, and preparation for the joy of the next chapter. Now, right after that, on the 11th, we have Mercury moving into Sagittarius, and we've already been working with this energy. So we are still in the Mercury retrograde shadow, because we have been working with this Mercury and retrograde, Mercury and Sagittarius energy for quite some time, since I would say since October into November, we have been working with this energy. So we're still in the shadow period, but we're on our way out, and we'll be out of it by the end of December. So Mercury entering its sign of Sagittarius, where it doesn't really like to be, because Mercury prepares to be in Gemini. However, we have had an opportunity to go over and redo an aspect of our Scorpio area of our chart, so that we can fully show up in the Sagittarius area of our chart. And what I love about Mercury in Sagittarius is the optimism that it brings to our ideas, right? When Mercury retrograded back in Scorpio, we really had to get very hyper focused. Scorpio likes to dive deep, dig deep, and research on a psychological level what's going on with ourselves and what's going on with the people around us. And if there's any type of issues, because Mercury in Scorpio can bring up words that can be very piercing, both in a positive way and a negative way, in how we speak to others, how others speak to us, and also the deeper meaning behind what people are really saying, right? The undercurrents that you can't really see, but you can feel. And researching on a psychological level why these things are coming up for us, why these things might be coming up for other people, and where we've missed a step in our own research on something that we're working on. And so Mercury going back into Scorpio, we got to do that research. Now with Mercury moving into Sagittarius, there's this newfound freedom of like, okay, I figured that out. I passed that exam. I passed that test. I dug deep. I got to the root of the situation. And now I feel extremely confident to take matters into my own hands with this new sense of information and communicate this, right? Mercury and Sagittarius are is definitely the folks that love to be coaches, the folks that are the gurus, the folks that like to preach, the pastors, the preachers, okay? The folks that can use their wisdom and communicate it to the masses and give it as a form of inspiration. However, with Mercury and Sagittarius, sometimes we can promise more than what we actually can deliver. So with that retrograde, you were able to realize, what can I actually deliver and what do I need to take off my plate? What have I been a little too big Jupiterian minded about? I need to cut back some of the details. Now, on the 15th, we have Mars entering into Capricorn. I love me a Mars in Capricorn. Why? Because Mars in Capricorn is like, we're going to get straight to the work. We're going to get straight to the nitty gritty, and we're going to build something that will foundationally be so solid that it will not be able to get rocked. Okay. So when you put Mars, the planet of conflict, the planet of action, the planet of passion, and also the planet of resiliency, and you put it in Capricorn, which also mirrors that energy, right? Capricorn may not have the fiery passion, but it has the resilience and the dedication to see something through all the way to the finish line. And what I love about Mars in Capricorn is Mars in Capricorn really acknowledges the beauty in the work, right? Mars in Capricorn is like, how can I find pleasure in being devoted, which is Mars. Mars is about devotion. Capricorn is about dedication. Mars has devotion through the fire energy. Capricorn has dedication through the mental plane. So Mars and Capricorn is like, how can I find the pleasure and the joy in the work that is not fun, but will get me to the end goal of what's going to really bring me stability, security, and safety in my life, because that's what Capricorn wants. Capricorn, being the opposite of Cancer, wants the same thing that Cancer wants to be nourished, wants to feel safe. But Capricorn does that through building the physical infrastructure, through gaining the physical resources in order to have that safety. So see where you have Capricorn in your chart, and Mars is going to shake things up here and give you the energy and the mental power to keep going to build out this area. Now, on the 20th, we have a new moon in Sagittarius. And what I love about this new moon is we have so much energy in the sign of Sagittarius. We have Mercury that's newly in Sagittarius, the sun, the moon. We also have Venus that is still in the sign of Sagittarius just for a few more days. So not only are we able to start a brand new chapter, Sagittarius being a fire sign, right? So giving us that energy, we're starting a brand new chapter, but we're also attracting that chapter to us because Venus is still in Sagittarius. So whatever adventure that you have for yourself, whatever philosophical studies that you want for yourself, whatever new idea and new vision, not even idea, Sag has the vision that wants you as well. And when you trust that what you want also wants you, you trust that whatever is opening out on your journey is opening out for your greatest good, which is very Sagittarian. There's always a silver lining to everything that is happening in our life. Now, on the 21st, right after that new moon in Sagittarius, we have the sun moving into Capricorn. So we are taking that Sagittarius energy and we are now adding a boost of practicality. Capricorn loves to take the freedom, the expansion, and the optimism of Sagittarius and say, okay, let's build this so that it can last forever. The sun in Capricorn is going to highlight in your chart other areas of your life that also need some more stability. So wherever you have Capricorn, that is going to be an area where you are stabilizing and you have the Mars energy to persistently stabilize that house. Now on the 24th, closing out the month, this is a pretty cute month here as opposed to what we had in November. On the 24th, closing out the month, we have Venus entering Capricorn. The beauty of this is we are finally coming to a place of a soft land. And let me not say a soft land. It could be a hard land for many of us, but it's a landing. somewhere concrete, because Capricorn is all about being concrete. And with Venus now connecting with the sun, now connecting with Mars, and soon to be connecting with Mercury, we have all of the tools that we need to build us a firm foundation. And what I love about this energy, especially because the 21st, how could I forget, is winter solstice, is we are really preparing ourselves to nest, right? Whenever you're dealing with the solstice or the equinox, we are transitioning into a new way of being. We are transitioning into the art of winter, which is the art of rest. And depending on where you are in a certain hemisphere, in certain parts of the world, you are preparing for summer, which is still the art of leisure and rest. Winter, it's the art of hibernation and rest. So conserving our energy more, being more indoors, using our brain power as opposed to our physical body, because it'll be very cold in certain areas, using our brain power to create the next chapter for ourselves. And most importantly, coming to a place of rest, okay? Coming to a place of doing less and getting more, right? And having all of these planets here to firmly support you on that leg of the season. So we have made it to the end of 2025. I hope your 2025 has been nothing short of transformative. We all needed this transformation this year because 2026 will be a very action oriented year. So, with that being said, if you want to see how you can make the most out of these transits and this energy, feel free to head over to my website, hiddenalchemybysade.com. You can send me an email at info@hiddenalchemybysade.com to schedule your reading and to be on your astrological journey. All right, everyone. Thank you all so much. And I will see you in the new year for our new astrology transits.